Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, I got a new toy. Now I've got work to do. I need to be editing videos. I need to be writing lesson plans for my classes, but I don't want to. I want to play with my new toy. So let's look in here and see what we got. I got the Boox Palma, y'all. I am so excited. So let's get into this thing. I just took off the plastic outer cover, y'all, and here's the box. So I don't know if you can see, it's a white box, and I'm going to try on this camera. And white on white, you see it says Boox here. Now I got the white version of the device. There's a white one and a black one. And I got the white one, so of course it comes in the white box. The black one comes in a black box. But here's what this is. It's an e-ink tablet along the same lines as you're probably familiar with a Kindle or a Nook. Those are e-ink readers, or the Remarkable tablet or the Supernote. Those are e-ink like writing tablets. Well, the Boox tablets are similar to those in that they're 300 ppi display e-ink tablets, but these devices run on the Android operating system. Now this one, the Palma, I believe runs, is it Android 11? So it's not the most recent Android operating system. So if you're gonna, well, we'll get into that. But so it runs the Android operating system. So you're able to download apps from the Google Play Store. And y'all, we'll talk about why that's so exciting in a minute. But let's get into this thing. So I'm gonna peel off this plastic cover. Ooh, and there she is. Y'all, look at this screen. I'm sorry, my lights, we're catching a glare from the light. But that's just lovely. Now, one of the sort of claims to fame of this thing is the size of it. And here's my iPhone, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and here's the Palma. So you see they're very similar in size. The Palma's a little bit slimmer, but they're very comparable in size. So let's just talk quickly about what comes in the box, and then we'll get into the device. So inside the box, we have this little other box. There's the obligatory quick start guide. And then we have the charging cable, and it's USB-C, of course, which I think that's probably the industry standard now, right? So it's USB-C. And then we have the little tool for fishing out the little mini memory card thing. Now let's be clear. This device does not take a SIM card. So it is not a phone. That's not what it does, and that's not what it's for. But here's what it does do. Let's power it on and give her a whirl. Now, this top button here on the right-hand side, that's your power button. So we have the standard setup functions. We got to tell it English. Oh, hello. Hi, new friend. All right, so I set my time. Auto sleep timer, auto power off never. Button gestures. Do I want to use button gestures or the nav bar? Let's go with button gestures for now. Multitasking switcher. Let's do it up from the middle of the bottom. Up and down swipe gestures. Swipe up and down on left of screen. Let's leave those off for now. All right. All right, y'all, so those are the basic setup items. I'm gonna let that power on. I'm gonna give it a second. And while that's doing that, let me show you this. I ordered the Palma from the Boox website, like actually from Boox, not from Amazon or from eBay or anywhere. And they had a package with it, and it came with a case. So you had the option of the standard case or the flip front case. And since I don't travel, y'all know I don't leave my house much. I didn't feel like I needed the protection of the flip front case, and I don't worry as much with my e-writing tablets as I do with like an iPhone or an iPad or something about the case or about the screen. So I just got the regular case, not the flip front case. So you can see it's got a little bit of a texture to it, but it's just your plain old run-of-the-mill case. I'll probably find a cuter case at some point online for this thing, but for now, this will do. So I'll get it set up. So I'll get the case on it, get it set up. I want to read on it for a while and then come back and give you sort of my overall view of it, like my thoughts on it, give you all the specs then and let you know what it's got, what it can do, what it's supposed to do, and what I think it really can do. But I want to tell you, the really sort of, to me, the big deal about this thing is that because it runs the Google Play Store, like it runs an app store, you can download different e-reader apps on it. Now it'll do a bunch of different things. It'll do pretty much anything that a tablet running Android will do. But remember that it's black and white. So you can run, like you can watch YouTube videos on it and those types of things, but you're going to be watching them like you're watching them in 1975. It's going to be black and white. So there's that. You can run your email on it. You can run those kind of things, but also remember that you're running, I believe it's Android 11. So it's still getting updates now, but at some point those are going to stop. So security updates are going to stop. So maybe think about that when you think about how you would use this thing. But y'all, what I'm really excited for is to download different e-reader apps onto it. So of course I'm going to download my Kindle, my Nook. I believe there's a Kobo app that I can get and download on there. I can download the Libby app straight onto there, so I can get my library books through Libby and read them straight on my Palma, which I could do on my Kindle. But if you're a Nook reader, I don't think that's an option. If you're a Kobo reader, I don't think that's an option. So for those readers, you have to read it on like your iPad or your iPhone or your whatever, your tablet or your phone or somewhere. But with the Palma, I can read it straight on the device with that beautiful 300 ppi e-ink screen. It's got adjustable light, y'all, I'm getting into the weeds of I'm doing exactly what I said I wasn't gonna do. I'm starting to talk about the specs before I really get into and start using the device. So that's what I wanna do. I want to look at those things. I wanna look at the light, I wanna look at the adjustable warmth, see how it compares to the Kindles, how it compares to the Nook, look at the battery life, see how that compares, and then I'll come back and let y'all know what I find out. So let me get on this thing, let me use it for a few days, and then I'll report back and let you know what I find. All right, y'all, it is time to get into this thing. Now, first let me tell you what's up. Those of you who have been around for a while know that I live in Minnesota, and y'all, the weather here, it is something. So it's mid-April now. And back in March, it got warm. And I said, I'm not falling for this. I'm not falling for false spring. I know better. I know that it's going to get cold again, and I'm not going to get my heart broken. Y'all, I've lived here for 15 years, and every year it gets warm and lovely. And we're all like, oh, look, it's spring, and there are flowers, and the birds come back. And then it gets cold again, and we get our hearts broken. So I said, no, 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 not this year. I am not the one. Got warm, I said no. The intern bought me a lovely swingy chair for the back porch, and then we got 18 inches of snow. So I said, haha, Mother Nature, I saw your shenanigans. So we got through the 18 inches of snow, and then it got warm and nice. And I was like, oh look, spring is finally here. And can y'all see out the windows? It is 40 degrees and rainy. So I fell for false spring number 2. So I am not happy at all. But that is not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Palma. Now, I am the absolute queen of analysis to paralysis. I'll want to talk about something, but then I want to research it and mess with it and play with it and learn about it and watch videos on it. And I want to know all the things before I talk about it, so then I spend months not talking about it. I'm not doing that this time, y'all. I'm going to do an actual, like, first impression of this thing. And then I'll probably come back later and do an in-depth, like, deep dive after I've researched it and played with it and watched all the videos and know all the things about it. But first, I just want to give you my initial impressions of this lovely, cute little, y'all, this thing is so cute. I seriously can't. So Initial disclaimer, I love it, which you probably know from my unboxing, y'all. I don't even remember what I said in the unboxing, so I don't know what you already know. Hopefully this won't be a whole lot of repetition from what I told you when I took the thing out of the box, because I didn't really know a whole lot about it then. But it's the Boox Palma. It is an e-ink tablet. It's got a 6.13 inch screen. It's 300 ppi, so it's sort of the standard, like what we expect from I'm gonna put this down. What we expect from modern like Kindles or Kobos, Nooks, all of those. And y'all, if you're wondering why we're doing this in the car, here's why. Because if you've watched any of my videos, you know that when I say we're not going deep in the weeds, or I'm not taking us on a deep dive, put on your mucking boots, put on your snorkel equipment, because we're going in the weeds or we're going on a deep dive. I figure if I do this in the car, I can't have a bunch of things around me, and I can't be doing a bunch of like reading and research while I'm talking. So I can't be getting like all off task and talking about 100 things about the device, because I have to like focus on my driving. So I can add in some B-roll and show you the things that I'm talking about, but all that I can talk about is things that I know. So that's what we're gonna do. Y'all, it's a plan. We're gonna try it and see how it goes. So, told you about the Carta 1200 e-ink screen, 300 ppi. Y'all, it is a lovely screen. It's got 6 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of onboard storage. So that just comes standard with the thing. Like, you don't pick it, you don't pay extra for the 128, none of that. It just is what it is. And it's got an expandable memory slot, which I think I told y'all about that. You can put in one of those little like micro memory cards in it and blow out your memory. Now, for an e-reader, I don't know that that would be necessary, but y'all, I'm not trying to manage your e-reading library. So if you want to carry around all the books that ever booked in all the world of books, you can do that on this device with that additional storage. What it does not have, and what it is not, so it kind of looks like a cute little phone, y'all. This is not a phone. It does not have a SIM card slot. You cannot make, well, you can kind of make calls on it. So it runs, I think we did talk about this. It runs on the Android, I was gonna stop holding it, wasn't I? Runs on the Android operating system. It's running Android 11. So, and I'm gonna try to be organized, but I'm already getting ahead of myself. But let's just talk about this. It's got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And because it's Android, you can download things from the Google Play Store. So you can get like WhatsApp or Messenger apps, and you can make calls on those. And it's got a pretty beefy little speaker. I accidentally had it read a book to me earlier when I was messing with it. But it's got a nice, crisp little speaker. And I haven't tried to make a call on it, but maybe I'll do that before we do our deep dive into it. I'll make a call on Messenger, which, y'all, if the intern sees this, he's rolling his eyes right now because he knows he's the one I'm going to call to test this thing. But I'll do some kind of like Messenger call and see what the quality is for a phone call. But I mean, it's a quick little device, so I imagine you can make I should air quote phone calls, because it is not a phone. But you can make messenger calls on it because it does have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capabilities, of course. Now, it doesn't have any kind of headphone jack. So I don't know if I don't like do Android really, so I don't know if other Android devices have headphone jacks, but like I'm an Apple girl, so, and like Apple's done away with those. So if you're accustomed to, is it 3.5 millimeter jack for your wired earbuds? This is not, it doesn't have those. So, but of course you can Bluetooth your earbuds to it, and then Bob's your uncle, you're good. So you can make calls, but it's not a phone. With that being said, we did compare this to my iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit slimmer, and it is significantly lighter. So if you're a commuter and you like to stand, like if you stand on like a subway or a bus or wherever people stand when they're commuting and read, y'all, this is a fantastic device. And let me go ahead and warn you now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I have my phone, and that's fine for reading on. If you don't want to start like becoming obsessed with reading on e-ink, do not start reading on e-ink, because as soon as you start reading on an e-ink device, you're going to realize that reading on your phone, reading on your iPad, reading on whatever those other backlit, like actual like tablet devices are, it is not going to be good enough anymore, my friends, because reading on e-ink is a completely different world. It's easier on your eyes, and the battery life on these things, I've had friends who knew that I was getting this have asked about the battery life. It's good, it's not great. Of course it's way better than like a phone or something, but it's not as good as a Kindle. It lasts for me about a week if I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff on it, like if I'm surfing websites, if I'm trying to watch videos, which you can do on it. It's not great, but you can do that. Of course it's black and white, so if you're like trying to watch a YouTube video, you're watching it in black and white. I actually use it to listen to YouTube videos, which is fine because you're not trying to watch it, but that runs the battery down, of course. But just reading on like the Kindle or the Nook app, perfectly fine. Lasts for well over a week. It's very customizable. It's got, did we talk about the buttons the other day? If we did, I probably faked my way through it because I didn't really know what they would do. So on the left-hand side, you have this one quick action button, and you can set it to do different things. There's a bunch of different, I was going to say there are myriad actions, but I felt like that would sound really like skeevy and sketch to try to use the word myriad, so I didn't. But there are a bunch of different actions you can do, and you can set, so you can, the button has 3 different responses. So it's got a quick click response, a double click response, and then a long press response. So you can have that button do 3 different things. Like right now, I've got it set to, my quick response is to go back to the home screen, because y'all, I'm still figuring this thing out and I'm not really sure how you're supposed to get back to the home screen. So I just set me a button to do it. Oh, this weather. I can't. Anyway, I just set me a button to take me back to the home screen. So I have 1 click to go back to the home screen. I've got the long press to refresh, because it's not bad when I'm reading. Like as an e-reader, it's great, but on websites, sometimes you'll get some ghosting, like where you can see, sort of like a little bit of the scene you just left on the next thing that you go to. So, I just do a refresh and that's fine. It wipes that right out. So, and I don't even have, so that's my double press, and I don't even have the long press set to do anything yet. So that's that quick action button on the left. On the right, you've got your power button that puts it to sleep and wakes it up and then is power. And I don't think you can set that to do anything else. But then you have this rocker button. And it's like by nature out of the box, it's a volume button. But y'all, you can set it to do a bunch of different things. You can set it to scroll. You can set it to as a page turn button. And all right, so did I tell y'all we're going to Dunkin' Donuts? Because I am down to my I've opened my last 1 pound bag of coffee, and it is not good for anybody for me to be even, oh, this is a tiny space, for me to be even almost out of coffee. So my car just beeped because I parked in a small space. So we're going to Dunkin' Donuts to get some coffee. So anyway, what was I saying? The rocker button. So it's volume. You can set it as a page turn button or a scroll button. So while you're scrolling websites, instead of having to scroll, like manually scroll, you can scroll with your rocker button, which is really nice for like, is it RSS feeds? It's really nice for those, because sometimes when you're like manually scrolling, it's just super awkward. So it's nice to have that scrolling button. And so you can set it so that it does the same thing for all of your websites, or you can set it so that it does different things for different websites. And that's one thing that I really love about this, is about the Palma, is that it's super customizable. You can like set the different buttons to do different things. There are different gestures on the screen. Now that we're stopped, I can show you some stuff. Again, I don't really have, y'all do not put on your boots. We're not going in the weeds. I'm going to be out of here in a minute, but like you can see here, can you even see? At the bottom, these are my controls. So I can have them here, or if you're looking at this going, like if you're having a twitch because there's so much stuff on my screen, you can get rid of these controls across the bottom and have it with a swipe up gesture, a swipe like from either side gesture. There are swipe ins from the side that you can do. I have the Uniball up here. If you're familiar with the Boox at all, the Boox tablets, the Uniball thing. I don't know why I'm trying to do this instead of like doing it as B-roll and then just showing y'all later. But so I have my Uniball up here, and y'all, if you're familiar at all with, I don't know if it's Onyx or just the Boox tablets, but that gives you, see how my controls just drop down the side? That gives me a bunch of different controls. And if you're thinking, well, why do you even need that? Because you have the controls across the bottom. Here's what's lovely about that. Look, I'm in a book here, right? See, I don't have my controls across the bottom, but there's my ball. So I can click on my ball and drop all those controls, so I have control without leaving my book. Y'all, seriously. So yeah, so far I just love it. Just a couple more things. I really just want to do like a quickie thing and get out of here. I think I mentioned when I unboxed it, and I've already said, but think about the fact that it runs the Google Play Store. So even if you just want it as an e-reader, which really is, like, I have it doing other things, but I really want it just as an e-reader. I have it doing other things only so that I can talk about them, like so that we can discuss them, and if y'all have questions, I can hopefully maybe kind of answer them. But my really only interest in this thing is as an e-reader, because if I have my phone, even as much as I try not to, I'm going to check my email. I'm going to look to see if, because I'm a teacher, I'm going to look to see if any parents have emailed me, if there's anything that I need to know. My schedules in the morning change, and honestly, I get anxious, concerned that I'm not going to remember what time my first class is. So I'll often check during the day to see what time my first class is the next day. So if I'm sitting doing something on my phone, I'll check that. I mean, who doesn't check their social media? I'll check to see if like anybody has left me a message on a video. So there are a bunch of things that I check if I have my phone. But if my phone is set aside and I'm reading on something like this, I'm not going to do that. I can get immersed in the book and not be distracted. So to me, a device like this specific device, I want just for reading. So I don't have my email on here. And I might have mentioned when I unboxed it that being Android 11, at some point they're going to stop updating it, right? Because I don't know if Android 11 is already out of date, but it will be fairly sharpish here. So when they do that, I think, and y'all, I'm not an Android girl, so I only like half know what I'm talking about here, but just be aware that there might be security concerns for things like if you're doing email, especially if you're doing any kind of financial stuff on this device using an outdated Android operating system. I think that's going to be an issue. For me, it's not, because I don't do any of those things on this. I just want it for reading. So where I was going with that was, I have my Nook on here, I have my Kindle app on here, I have my Libby, ooh, people are getting in the car beside me and I'm right up on them. I have my Libby app on here, so I can read any of the books that I have on my e-readers, I can read on here, so that's really nice and convenient. So say I'm traveling, or I don't commute, like my commute is from downstairs to upstairs to teach my classes. But if I'm traveling and I finish a book on my Kindle and there's a book that I have from Barnes & Noble that I want to read, I don't have to worry about having brought my Nook with me, because I can just read on here. So there's that. It's very quick. We talked about the 6 gigs of RAM. Y'all, it is very quick. Now, for websites and stuff, like other than as an e-reader, it's quick enough, but the Kindle app on here is significantly quicker than the Kindle doing things when you're like reading on a Kindle, downloading stuff, things like that. This is very quick. I still love my Kindles. This is not going to replace my, I sit on the couch and read a different Boox tablet, but my Kindle that I read on the Peloton, that's still going to be that same Kindle. Or my Paperwhite that I read in the bed, that's still going to be my Paperwhite, but this is a fantastic grab it and go kind of Kindle. This is on a Kindle. This is going to be a fantastic grab it and go kind of reader. I'm glad I said Paperwhite because I forgot to even mention, and this is going to be it, and then we're going to get out of here and we'll come back at a later date with a little more organized, deeper dive into this thing. But of course it's lit, and you can adjust both the light, like the brightness of the thing, and the warmth. And y'all know that the Kindle Paperwhite, those Kindles that we have where you can adjust the warmth, I love that because it's just a nicer reading experience and it's easier on your eyes, especially if you're reading like from like afternoon into evening. It's very nice. Or if you're reading out in bright sunlight, you might want to change the warmth of your screen. Fantastic. This is a great little device, y'all. We'll talk about the price, I'm sure, in later videos, but for me it was $300 out the door. We might have talked about that in the unboxing. I know it's steep when you can get a Kindle for $99, but if you think about the fact that this, first of all, I got it because I wanted it. Does anybody need this thing? I don't necessarily think so, but it can be your Kindle, your Nook, your Kobo. You don't necessarily have to buy something to be your Libby reader, right? Your library reader, but you can do all of those things on one device. So if you think about the fact that it can replace your $180 or $150 Kindle Paperwhite because it's got the warmth, it's got all the things, and it can replace your Nook, put those two things together, and I think it's I think the actual price tag is like $270, but then there's shipping and all the things, and I live in Minnesota where taxes are probably pretty high. So I love this thing. My initial impression is I love it. It's useful, it's quick, it's small. Let me show you one more thing. I've got it in the case. I showed y'all the case that came with it, right? When we unboxed it. So, well, I guess you've already seen this, so I don't need to do this. But here it is out of the case. It's just so cute and so sleek and so small. And did we talk about this? It's got like a, that's way too bright for y'all to see that. It's got a texturized finish, which is just nice for holding. It gives you a little grip to it, and it just feels good in the hand. I wish I trusted myself to carry this thing without having a case on it. I do not, but it actually feels pretty sturdy to me. It's all, we'll talk, when we talk later, I will know all the things about the construction, but it's all plastic. Like, it's not like back in the day. Look, and it goes to this cute little clock. Camera, I forgot to say camera. It's got a camera with a flash. It's not fabulous. It's 16 megapixels, and it's more intended for you to take pictures of documents and to either like use on here or to be able to send them to other things. So I think it's functional as a camera, and it's, of course, it's a black and white device, so it takes color pictures, Captain Obvious, and when you send them to other devices, they go as color, but you won't see it as color on the thing. That reminded me of something else. Pictures, oh, PDFs. So of course you can read PDFs on it. If I were to read a PDF, if I were at the house reading a PDF, of course I would read the PDF on my Supernote or something else, some other like bigger, more sort of PDF designated tablet. Like, I've got other e-readers that are better for PDFs, but y'all, if you're on the go and you need to read a PDF, this is a perfectly viable option. One thing I do not like about it, and it just is what it is, it doesn't have any kind of stylus or pen option. And hardware nerds in the audience, help me out with this. I don't expect that there will ever be an option that they can like fix that with a firmware update, because I'm thinking if it can't do it, it can't do it. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it has the capability, and I don't know. I'm way outside my wheelhouse right now, but it does not have any kind of stylus or pen option, which I think would be nice. And while I'm adding things to it, I wouldn't hate if it were color, but y'all, it's $300. Well, it was $300 out the door. It's what, $240, $272, whatever. Not color. So I'm thinking in color it would be a little steeper, and it's really not necessary. So I'm not a manga reader. I think if you're a manga reader, this probably, I don't know, you might not be interested in this anyway because it's so small, and I think it would like jack up your, like the dimensions and stuff of your manga material anyway. I think it not being color, with that whole thought was manga folks probably wouldn't enjoy it because it's not color. Well, you're probably not going to like it anyway because it's this big. So I don't know, again, not a manga reader, talking out completely outside my wheelhouse, but those would be my two complaints. Is it's not color, which that's not even what it is, and it doesn't have a pen or stylus option. But y'all, otherwise, I absolutely love it so far. So let me play with it some more, let me get more into it, and we'll come back again later and do a deep dive. But for now, those are my thoughts on the Boox Palma. So y'all, let me know what you think. Do you have one of these? Do you care about one of these? Do you have any interest in one of these? Or do you have one of the other Boox devices? Let us know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for riding along with me. If you made it this far, we're most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos at the beginning of every week with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.